this time, I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting of April the 14th, 2015 of the Davie County Board of Education. The first item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. Do we have a motion? We have a motion by Mr. Drexler. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. At this time, we're moving on to closed session item on the agenda, and I would ask for a motion to go into closed session to preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to the North Carolina General Statutes listed on our agenda to discuss personnel and student matters protected by state law. Do we have a motion? We have a motion by Mr. Drexler. We have a second. We have a second by Ms. Livengood. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. We're now in closed session. Welcome. It's good to see everybody tonight. At this time, we'd like to reconvene the regular scheduled meeting of April the 14th of the Davie County Board of Education. If you would, we're moving on to the invocation in the agenda. If you would, please bow with me. As we gather this evening, I express thanks for this day and all of its blessings. I ask this board to be mindful of the business we are about to undertake. We're thankful for everyone in attendance tonight. Further, we are thankful for the opportunity to govern and the freedoms we enjoy. We pause to remember the students, the faculty members, and families in our system and community who are facing challenges. Our positive thoughts are with them. As always, we seek wisdom to make the best decisions for the students and citizens of Davie County. Amen. At this time, we're moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will ask Emma Schambach from the Clover Club to come up. Emma? I don't see Emma. Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and have the pledge without Emma. Board, at this time, we're moving on to approval of the minutes. We have minutes from our last regular scheduled meeting of March the 3rd. If I could have a motion to approve those minutes, please. I have a motion by Ms. Owens. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Drexler. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. At this time, we're moving on to important dates, and I will point out a few on our calendar. On the 20th, we have an office professional luncheon at 11 o'clock that the board will attend. And on the 23rd of April at 8 o'clock, we have a budget work session here in this room. Also, that same day, 6:30, there's a Battle of the Books at Davie High. I'm sure they'd love to see a good attendance there from anyone who'd like to come. On the 29th of April at 11:30, the board will have lunch at Coolamy Elementary. And then on April the 30th, we will celebrate character education at the Brock Performing Arts Facility. And then I'll point out our next regular scheduled meeting is May the 5th at 6 o'clock in this room. And at this point, I will turn it over to Dr. Hartness for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. It's good to have everybody here tonight. I'm sorry that we don't have enough chairs for everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter holiday and a good break, a good spring break. We're back in action this week. I know there were a lot of parents excited about school starting back yesterday and they could send their kids back to school. Well, we're excited to have them. I know my daughter Molly on Sunday night said she was excited to come back to school on Monday, so we were excited for Molly to go back too. Well, the high school bids, I think, are on everyone's mind. I think that's one of the reasons we have a lot of people in attendance tonight. I hope you had an opportunity to read my School Matters message on Friday evening. Our architects are here tonight to talk to us about what we've been doing since the bid opening and what our next steps are. What I have learned over the past 4 years is the project of building a new Davie County High School has plenty of challenges, and we've just met another one of those. But I am very confident that the solutions that we're putting together in collaboration with our architect and contractors will keep this project moving forward. And I want to say, board members, I appreciate each of you that I've talked with since our bid opening. I know that we were all very disappointed and shocked with the bid opening, but I appreciate your commitment and your attitude toward the project and recognizing that the people of Davie County voted for this, and we're committed to work together to make it a reality and get it built. Our architects, again, are here tonight to share with you that we have been negotiating with New Atlantic Contracting. I want to thank our architectural team. I want to thank the team at New Atlantic. Some of them are here tonight who've been working diligently with me and Mr. Jeff Wallace, our Assistant Superintendent for Operations and Human Resources. Mr. Michael Spillman is in the room. Michael, where are you? There he is on the front row. Michael's our Facilities Director. These two gentlemen, as well as Chairman Fuller and Vice Chairman Clint Junker, and I have spent many hours over the past week and a half working on this, and we're committed and are looking forward to reducing the overall cost of the school and making this project a reality. We feel confident we can make adjustments to this and get it within the budget of the funds that have been allocated for the project. Just an update, the notice of sale and the bid forms went out yesterday to potential investors who wish to purchase the school bonds. The school bids or the bonds will be sold next Tuesday, April the 21st. Until the bonds are sold, we have a funding source, then we can't enter into a contract. So you're not going to see any action by the Board of Education tonight. We're not asking them to approve a contract on this project. In fact, we can't until the bonds are sold, but that is scheduled to be next week. We will continue to work with New Atlantic and our contract and our architect between now and then. We'll have to make some sacrifices. We'll make some adjustments to the original plan, but I can assure you that this team is committed to making this project a reality. We're not talking about chopping off wings or reducing the size of the school. We're making other adjustments that are necessary to get the thing within budget, but we're not going to compromise our academic programs or the quality of the building, so we feel good about that. So that's enough about that. We'll talk about some more in the rest of our agenda in just a little while. We have to submit a budget draft to you, Board of Education, by May the 1st. So you saw on your important dates coming up, I've requested the chairman schedule a budget work session on April the 23rd. So we'll need to get together and talk about the budget for next year. Our budget committee has worked within the school system drafting a budget. We are reviewing capital requests from schools right now and prioritizing those to bring to you. Ms. Spink, our chief financial officer, is developing a draft budget. And this year, I will tell you, has been a challenge because of the lack of information we received from the state. As you know, the legislature took a different approach to the budget, and the school budget in North Carolina is not based on student growth this year. So we do not have a planning allotment. So we're working off of what we have right now, and I think what you'll see is a budget brought to you that's not an expansion budget, but one that will maintain the programs and the staffing that we have now. And we will share with you on the 23rd the challenges that we face, as well as what we know at that point in time. A couple more things later in this agenda. I'm real excited to hear from Noelle Grady-Smith. She will be sharing with the Board of Education a list of grants that the school system has written and received, and I want to thank the Mebane Foundation and the Davie Community Foundation for a commitment of over $150,000 towards some programs that will support children in Davie County schools in the next few months. So we want to thank them for that. Just a couple more things. The lady to my right, I'm going to embarrass now, is retiring at the end of May. Jean Brickey has committed many years of service to Davie County, and we'll talk about her some more next month. But we would like for you to enjoy a reception from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in this room before our next regularly scheduled meeting in May to honor Jean and her service to the board and to the superintendent's office. So, Jean, we're looking forward to that reception. Board of Education, keep an eye on your email box from your association for legislative updates as the legislature continues to debate and develop a budget for the state of North Carolina. And I'm going to be quiet because I'm excited that we have a lot of people here for recognition, so many people that there are some waiting in the gym across the way there. So we'll kick off our recognitions now, Mr. Chairman, and move to that section of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hartness. Thank you for all those comments. And yes, we have been talking a lot to Miss Bricky about her retirement and begging and pleading, but we wish her well and look forward to that recognition of her next month. At this time, we're moving on to the recognitions, and first up is the Child Nutrition Manager of the Year, and I will call on Ms. Baker.
Members of the board and staff and guests. It is my honor to recognize Angie Allen. She is our Child Nutrition Manager of the Year. She has been the manager at Shady Grove for around 7 years, between 7 and 8. We're debating that back here. But she has been in child nutrition several years. She started out at Moxville Elementary. She's a second-generation manager. Her mother served our county as well, and so we are delighted to have her with us. Couple of things about Angie. She does everything at her school in the best interest of her students. Her staff lead and also made a recommendation when Mrs. Gildine nominated her for Manager of the Year. They sent a special recognition and nomination for her, and they said that what a wonderful manager she was, what a great boss she was, and that they really wanted her to outshine all the others and be selected this year. If you've ever been out to Shady Grove at different times over the last several years, you may have seen her and her staff dress up as Italian chefs, superheroes, baseball players, anything that the school is doing for Spirit Week. They are a phenomenal group that have embraced making it a fun environment for her students and doing a lot of promotions. And those are some of the few reasons, but there are many more, that she outstands and shines as our Child Nutrition Manager of the Year, and we are very proud that you have served us this year. I'll give you your pen.
Ms. Allen, on behalf of the school board and everybody in the room that enjoys eating, we thank you very much for your service to the school and the school system. Thank you.
At this time, we're moving on to the Office Professional of the Year, and I'll ask Ms. Donna McNeil to come forward.
Good evening, Chairman Fuller, Dr. Hartness, members of the board. As Pam Collins joins me, and Ms. Mars, you're in the audience. Come join us too, please. Ms. Mars is her principal. Ms. Pam Collins has been an employee of Davie County Schools for over 24 years. This is what Ms. Mars had to say about this fine young lady as she nominated Ms. Collins for this achievement. Our red-headed fireball is officially the administrative assistant for Moxville Elementary School. She is hostess for the mostest. Just ask her. She's also a nurse, gardener, teacher assistant, Jill of all trades, and mind reader. When Moxville Elementary asked for a volunteer for their robotics team, Pam stepped up to the plate and worked with the students every week after school. Legos and the Mindstorm will never be the same. She is calm when she needs to be and on fire when necessary. Just last year, she saved a student's life by performing the Heimlich maneuver and removing food from a child's obstructed airway. It would be an understatement to say she is a spirited young lady. Pam is caring and often giving money from her second job as a dog sitter to a coworker coworker needing financial assistance. The words "not in my job description" are not in her vocabulary. She is the heart and soul of Moxville Elementary School, and that is why Pam Collins is Davie County's Office Professional of the Year.
I would like everyone to just think, here are two powerhouses right here. Many years ago, when I had my office right over there, these two were way over there, but I knew they were busy giving and caring and doing everything. So it is a very deep honor to present to you, on behalf of the board, your certificate of appreciation from us for going and going and going and going. The Energizer Bunny, Palm Collins.
At this time, I would ask Ms. Brooke Pressler and Ashlyn Montgomery to come forward to present to us the 2015-16 NCATA Teacher Assistant of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Hartness, Mr. Wallace. My name is Ashlyn Montgomery, and I'm the representative for the Education and Human Resources for NCATA District 7. And I'm also a member of the Davie County Association of Teacher Assistants, Vice President. But most importantly, I'm a teacher assistant from Pine Brook Elementary School. The theme for this year's North Carolina Association of Teacher Assistants is Teacher Assistants Make Magic. I would like to tell you about a very magical teacher assistant. She brings magic to her students every day, starting about 7 a.m. when she starts her school bus. They know bus driver. She's always there with a good morning and a beautiful smile. Next, she takes that smile and those good mornings down the hallways, stopping here and there to give a hug or five. Then she's off to her classroom. Now the magic really begins. She's in the EC classroom, one-on-one. Science, 5th grade. 2nd grade reading group. 3rd grade math. 4th grade reading group. Did I mention EOG prep and computer lab? And the teacher has an IEP meeting, and can you take the whole class? And did little Joey go to the nurse? And did that note come back signed? And have you gone over that math test with that other small group? And can we do a craft for that other science experiment that we were doing? And those manipulatives, did you get those out? And let's get them packed up to go home. No, wait, it's only lunchtime. But the magic doesn't stop there. This teacher assistant is also an advocate for other teacher assistants. You've seen her here at the board meetings every month. She works for teacher assistants in Davie County. She wants all teacher assistants to be recognized for what we do. She wants all teacher assistants to be trained so that we can help our teachers in our classrooms. She's been very active in the Davie County Association of Teacher Assistants. She's been president for the last 2 years. Unfortunately, I have to fill her shoes for the next 2 years. She has also been very active in the North Carolina Association of Teacher Assistants, where she's been District 7 president for 2 years, and she will also be staying in that role for another 2 years. Did I mention she's also a wife and a mother? As a member of the NCATA EHR committee for the past 4 years, I've had the daunting task of helping to choose our state teacher assistant of the year. This year we had 6 candidates from 8 districts. I am pleased to present to you the winner of this year's Teacher Assistant of the Year from District 7, Davie County, and Pine Brook Elementary School, Miss Andrea Cranfield.
While she's being pinned, I will introduce to you another Energizer Bunny, and that is Andrea. Many years ago when I was at Shady Grove, she walked into my office, and she was interviewing for her first position in Davie County as a teacher assistant at Shady Grove. Every question I asked her, it was, I could do that, I can do that. And guess what? She did, and she did more and more. It is an honor and a privilege to present for the board to Andrea in appreciation for becoming the first Davie County, North Carolina Teacher Assistant of the Year. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
At this time, we're moving on to the North Carolina Big Brothers Big Sisters Big of the Year, and I will ask Miss Jenna Hendricks to come forward.
Good evening, all. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate the partnership that Big Brothers Big Sisters has with Davie County Schools. I don't think we could do what we do without you, so thank you for having us. I'm here this evening to share a great honor. We are very pleased to announce that Christy Ruff, 7th grade teacher at William Ellis Middle School, has been selected as North Carolina's Big of the Year. This is a huge accomplishment. Christy was chosen out of thousands of volunteers serving Big Brothers Big Sisters agencies in Asheville, Charlotte, Greensboro, High Point, Davie, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, and Durham. Christy and her little Sophie have been matched for 5 years and will represent our agency in the Big of the Year selection at the national level. The National Big of the Year results will be announced at our national conference in June. Christy has served our agency with countless hours of time and energy through her dedication to her little sister, service on our advisory board, and her ongoing fundraising efforts. Her little Sophie had this to say about her big sister. Christy deserves the Big of the Year award because she is there for me every day. She gives me advice and guidance on how to handle school, friends, and homework, and I love spending time with her. We are so proud to have Christy represent our community and advance to the national competition for Big of the Year. She will be presented with an award at our Volunteer Appreciation Dinner this Friday. Please join me in congratulating Miss Christy Ruff on such an outstanding honor. Congratulations.
Christy, on behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to present you this certificate. And if you're not involved in Big Brothers and Big Sisters, it's a wonderful organization. I'm not involved as working with the children, but I've sponsored the bowling for kids on Saturday morning, and it's what an impact it makes on the lives of our children, and I appreciate all the work you do. Thank you.
At this time, I'll call on Ms. Smink to present to us the North Carolina Association of Educational Professionals State Secretary.
Thank you, Chairman Fuller, members of the board, Dr. Hartness. Sheila, why don't you come over here so everybody can see you. I'd like to introduce you to Sheila Stanley, and Sheila is our office manager / receptionist at the central office for Davie County Schools. Many of you may not recognize her by sight, but many of us do recognize her by her voice, because she is the first person that most people meet when they come to Davie County Schools, via the phone or through the front office. Sheila is always pleasant, always polite, always courteous, and always kind, and always willing to help anyone who enters the door or calls our offices. We're here this evening to recognize Sheila because she has been installed as the Secretary of the North Carolina Association of Educational Office Professionals. Now, I'm going to have to say that a lot in the next minute or two, so when I start stumbling over it, just forgive me. Since coming to Davie County Schools almost 9 years ago, Sheila has been very active with the various levels of the AEOP. At the local level, in addition to numerous committees, she served as secretary in 07-08, president from 2008 to 2010, and she was voted the Davie County AEOP Office Professional of the Year for 2011-12. In 2008, Sheila began her service at the district level by serving 2-year terms as vice president, president-elect, and president, and she is currently the immediate past president for District 5. She also has chaired many committees at the district level. In 2012-13, Sheila was voted the District 5 AEOP Office Professional of the Year. At the state level, Sheila was recognized as the NCAEOP Top Recruiter in 2008, and in 2009, she received the NCAEOP Membership Recruiting First Time Members Award. Sheila also earned her North Carolina Professional Associate PSP certificate in 2009. In 2010, Sheila was asked by the affiliations chair at the state level to represent North Carolina at the national conference in Missouri. Sheila joined the national organization in 2010. At that time, attained service at all 4 levels of the association: local, district, state, and national. Sheila served as a teller for the national conference in addition to serving on the membership committee. Sheila earned her national PSP certificate in 2010. She also earned her distinction of Certified Educational Office Employee that same year. Sheila is the only Davie County Schools educational office professional to have earned this distinction. Finally, last month, Sheila was installed as the secretary of the state organization, the state NCAEOP, for the 15-16 school year. Please join me in congratulating Sheila for her many years of service as an educational office professional at the local, district, state, and national level.
Sheila, obviously, you're very much more than deserving of this certificate for all those accomplishments, but on behalf of the board, I'd like to present you with this. Congratulations.
Before moving on, I'd just like to quickly say congratulations to the staff members who have been recognized tonight, and thank you for your dedicated service. At this time, we're moving on, and I would ask Ms. Tanya Carr to come up to present to us the winners of the 2014-15 VFW's Patriots Pen Essay Contest.
Chairman Fuller, members of the board, Dr. Hartness, and guests, thank you so much for this opportunity to recognize McKenna Oakes, who is a wonderful student and just an incredible young lady. I am just pleased as anything, privileged to be her teacher in the classroom. Writing is one of her many, many talents that she has. But her whole experience would not be possible if it weren't for the Advance VFW post, and specifically the efforts of Everett Nichols and his wife Mary, who have worked tirelessly to communicate and to coordinate this event for several years. And it's been a long time because I've been here a long time myself, and I'm losing track. It's been at least over 10 years that he's coordinated this, as far as talking to middle schools and to the high school to coordinate the Patriots Pen Essays Contest. So I want to publicly thank him within this forum for honoring our students for so many years in this wonderful way. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Nichols and to District Commander Isaacs, who will continue this presentation. Thank you.
My name's Don Isaacs, and I'm the District Commander of District 11 of the VFW of North Carolina. Mr. Chairman, thank you, and board members and staff for giving us this opportunity. And this is Ferris Upton. She's the president of the Ladies Auxiliary, who is an integral part of the Patriots Pen process and the essays. And of course, Mr. Nichols, he is tremendous in getting students involved and getting a lot of representation. And all of you folks can be proud of the Davie County students, of the response of the essay contest. McKenna is a fantastic young lady. She was with us at the state meeting, and this is the district award that will be presented tonight. Later on, there'll be a state award that she won the state of North Carolina, and she also ranked very well in the national organization as well, and the national contest. Ferris, if you would present that.
Kenna, on behalf of the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Ladies Auxiliary District 11,
It is our honor and pleasure to present this to you. And congratulations on the job well done.
Thank you.
And also, I failed to mention that Ron Cox, the post commander of the advanced post for the VFW, he does a fantastic job as well. And thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
I just real quickly would like to say thank you as well from the board. Congratulations. Ours didn't have a check stapled to it. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, and I would like to say thank you to the VFW for their partnership with schools on this Patriots Pen essay and contest, and we appreciate working with them. At this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Noelle Grady-Smith for band recognitions.
Good evening, members of the board, Chairman Fuller, Dr. Hartness. I'm glad to be here this evening to honor a terrific group of young students. I'd like to invite the teachers to come up and help me with this recognition. We're going to begin with our middle schools and proceed to our high schools. Mr. Jason Carter, Justin Mc... Okay, go ahead. You want to go first?
Sure. I'd like to recognize some of our North Davie Band students. We had 18 students selected for the Youth Pima Honor Band. It's the largest group we've ever had participate with this. Students are nominated, and they actually get a chance to go play in a clinic type situation. And it's really an excellent opportunity for the kids to do some really good music with kids they maybe not only get a chance to play with, got to get a chance to play with some really big groups and do some really great stuff. We have 5 students from North. If you'd come on down here to the center so we can recognize you. Come. We have 3 students that were in the red bands. Jackson Trivett, Sarah Woodruff Carter, and Josh Beatty are 3 members of the red band that were here. We had 8 members. The other 5 could not make it tonight. And then we had 7th graders placed in the group. We have 2 members of that. We have John Motley and we have Katie Walton. But they had their concert back in the end of March, and they did a wonderful job. I'm very pleased with their progress, and it makes a good springboard for kids who want to go to the all-county, all-district, even the all-state level. So thank you very much.
I can stand right over there. We're going to make a big U of students. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Justin McGreevy from South Davie Middle School Band.
All right, at South Davie this year, we've had 8 students that made the all-district band. These students were selected for this ensemble by audition, and 2 of them are here tonight. The others had a field trip they haven't got back from. So we'll go ahead and bring out those 2 guys, Marceli Lutak and Quinn Collins. The other ones were Justin Bourdouin, Kevin Argueta, Sierra Foster, Garrett Penley, and there were a couple more, Jacob Juarez. So we're very, very proud of those guys, and Andrew Lawrence. Also, these 2 gentlemen went on, placed high enough to go on an audition for the North Carolina All-State Honors Band, and these 2 gentlemen also made placement in the Honors Band. And these were kids from all over the state of North Carolina coming together to audition for placement into this group, and we are very, very fortunate to have these 2 young men represent us at this event in May.
I gave my wonderful friend, Mr. McCrary, a new name, called him Mr. McGreevy. I happen to be reading a book on Scotland right now, so I'm very sorry. Okay, now I'd like to invite Amanda James from Ellis Middle School to come forward.
We had 5 students make all-district band this year from Ellis Middle School. We have 2 of them here tonight to represent them. We have Hannah Gallimore, who's a 7th grader, and Zane Holloman, who's an 8th grader. The other students were Luke Stilson, who's a 6th grader, Marvelyn Ramirez, 7th grader. Will Vogler, 7th grader. So we're very proud of them. Zane Holloman auditioned and placed high enough in All District to audition for All State Band, and he made the only string-based position in the state. So we're very proud of him for his accomplishments. Thank you.
Now I believe we are ready for high school. Is that right, band directors? I'd like to invite Mr. Andrew Jemison to come and stand with me, please. These are exciting recognitions from the middle school all the way through the high school. There are going to be a list of students that I read that are participants in all-district band, different levels of all-district band. 11th and 12th grade symphonic band is Mr. Adam Conrad, 15th chair clarinet. 9th and 10th grade symphonic band, Avery Boudreau, 19th chair clarinet. 9th and 12th grade concert band, Chelsea Strange, 4th chair clarinet. Please come in. Bryn Howard, 5th chair clarinet. Seth Jones, 1st chair euphonium. And Austin Lowry, 1st chair tuba. In addition to that, let's have a round of applause for the 2 out of all those that made it. Thank you. It's important to remember that these are high school students and that they have numerous activities in addition to band, so sometimes there's a little conflict in the evenings to come and get these awards. In addition, we have students who were in all-district band, but they were also eligible for all-state orchestra. Tara all-state band. Okay. I'm quite used to orchestras, not bands. Okay. Tara Duchemin. I did it. Okay. And she's 3rd chair trumpet. Danielle Wood, 2nd chair horn. Bryson Penley, 2nd chair trumpet. Caleb Lanning, 2nd chair trombone. Micah Carroll, 1st chair string bass. Now these students that you see here combined with the rest are eligible for a very special honor. To be chosen for all-state band is quite a significant recognition. I'd like Mr. Jemison to tell you a little bit more about that.
Thank you. I apologize, I'm losing my voice due to some allergy issues, but I do want to say congratulations to these students again, and it is a great honor for the ones that are selected to be in all-district band, as Mr. McCurry said earlier. We do have 5, as Ms. Noel Grady-Smith said, we're eligible for all-state, and Mr. Caleb Lanning, Caleb, if you'll step forward there, was selected as 4th chair trombone in the state. So out of all the high school 9th and 10th grade trombone players, he's 4th chair in the state, which is an awesome honor, and so. Thank you.
Now I want you to think of all the 9th and 10th graders across the state who auditioned for the All-State Honors Band, and we'd like to give extra recognition to Caleb Lanning, 4th chair. So thank you again, that's exciting. In addition to that, we have an honor for the Davie High School Wind Ensemble. Superior ratings at the 215 North Carolina Music Performance Assessment. This will begin our honors for that particular event, and then we will continue into middle school. Mr. Jemison.
The bands in Davie County this year have really made history, and the Wind Ensemble at Davie High School is the top performing group, made up of auditioned students, and that group, for the first time ever in Davie County history, went in what we refer to as grade 6 level music, which is a very difficult level of music, the most difficult level of music that you can perform in at our music assessment. And the colleges and universities around our area play the same same level of music on a regular basis. And for the first time ever that the wind ensemble performed in that level and got straight superior ratings from each of the 4 judges that judged them. And so it's an amazing thing that's happening in our band program in Davie County, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And these students are awesome to work with, and each one of them really have just worked their tails off to make this happen. And so each one that you see before you is in that group, and so representing them, let's give them a round of applause, please.
At this time, I'd like for Justin to return and give us information about the middle school MPA results.
South Davie Middle School Band also traveled to MPA this year. We usually go every year. This year we went in grade 3 music, which is a step up from where we usually go. Most middle school bands play grade 2, some in grade 3. And this is the first year we have received a superior rating in that category as well. So we made school history too this year with our kids going in grade 3 and getting a superior rating with our students. And we're very, very proud of those 8th grade band members for accomplishing that achievement. So thank you so much.
So that was South Middle School. Now let's hear from Ellis Middle School. Ms. James.
We as well went in grade 3 this year. So it was the first time in Ellis history that we went in grade 3 and received a superior rating. So we were very happy about that and hope to continue it in the future. Thank you.
We could give one more round of applause to all these deserving young people. I'm very proud of them.
Well, I guess I'll speak on behalf of the board. We want to congratulate all of the schools recognized here tonight and all of the students recognized here tonight, our outstanding teachers on a tremendous accomplishment and a job well done. We're so proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, we have a lot of talented musicians here in Davie County Schools. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations, everyone. I think Ms. Owens has a comment.
I just have to say one thing while the band is leaving. Where we live, there are several band members who are in the all-district band across the creek, so to speak. And during Easter, they decided to have a battle or a band of instruments, clarinets, trumpets, drums were going on. And our grandkids would play, and the other kids on the other side of the creek would play, and it was back and forth. And we've scheduled another one of those, so if anyone would like to hear it, it's really good. They played their pieces from the competition. It was wonderful. We do have a lot of talented children. Thank y'all.
At this time, moving on to the cheerleading world champions, and I will ask Mr. Wallace to come forward.
I know we have a few new guests here tonight. Now, Wesley and Clark, you've been coming a few times, but, wow. I mean, my goodness. So for those of you, state, national, world, and this is the way it's supposed to be. It's the way school's supposed to operate. So great job. It's my pleasure to stand before you once again. When Miss Stage, where you at? And recognize Davie County High School's competition cheerleading team for the 4th year in a row, right? 4th year in a row. So as world champions, but I'm going to turn it over to our county athletic director, Mr. Barry Whitlock, and then he's going to have some things to share with you, and then Coach Stage and Coach Barnett better not here. Okay, all right.
Stuck in Charlotte traffic.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Like Mr. Wallace was saying, in February, our cheerleaders got on a bus and went down to Florida. Usually when you go to Florida, beach, get some sun, whatever. But this team was on a mission. They had already won 3 consecutive state championship, world championships. And after the competition was completed, the mission was accomplished. They brought home the 4th world champion, as well as finishing 8th in the nation, nationally. Coach Stage is going to introduce the cheerleaders that are here. This is a co-ed team, and like I said, it's their 4th consecutive world championship. Congratulations.
Okay. Austin Thomas is a senior and will be cheering in college on a scholarship. Candace Lakey. Cameron Spillman. Cameron Coleman. Jordan Butcher.
We can't keep up, so we're just going to.
That's fine. I can hand them out. Kelsey Miller. You guys gotta move so I can see. Peyton Cartner. Matt Allen. Maddie McCartney. Sierra Slater. Julia Vaughn Jones. Maddie Oakes. Shelly Peoples. I can't see. Catherine Whitley. Is that it? And we have several that are involved in other school activities and jobs and things of that sort, so they couldn't all be here tonight. We have 25 cheerleaders, 7 boys and 18 girls that made up this team.
Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment, being world champions.
Mr. Chairman, if I might interject, I would just echo Mr. Wallace's comments. I mean, tonight is a little overwhelming when you see the recognitions of staff and students who are stepping up and taking on more challenging music, taking on more challenging positions. They're leading here in Davie County. They're leading in our region. They're leading in our state. They're leading nationally, and now we have world champions. So I think this fits in with our strategic plan, and we want to be a national model. And I'm really proud of the folks who are recognized tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Hartness. At this time, we're moving on to the architect's report, and I will ask Clark Pierce and Wesley Curtis to come up and give us a report on where we are to date.
Good evening. Chairman Fuller, members of the board, Dr. Harkness, other guests. You know, we're happy to be here every time that you ask us to be here and update you on the status of your new high school. We wish we could be here under a little more pleasant circumstances than we are this evening. But I just want to tell you all, the board members, community as well, and staff, that Walter Robbs is committed to working through this process with you and the contractor to see that we do complete the new Davie County High School as expected and occupy that on start of school year in 2017. Of course, you know that we're going through some value engineering processes with the contractor, but you know, little has changed in terms of what the building appearance will be. What the programmatic requirements have been, that has been something that we've not even considered adjusting. All the buildings, all the program spaces, the CTE classrooms, everything that we worked so hard and diligently with the staff to include in your new high school are still in your new high school. Just as a quick update, we did receive bids on the 31st. I think we were all as disappointed and quite frankly as shocked as the board members were that were there. We, as long as I can recall, have never had a project that was remotely near this far over budget. And I think, in a few minutes, I'm just going to go through a number of slides. There are no picture slides tonight, but I want to, by way of explanation, as opposed to an excuse, sort of tell you where the construction market seems to be and perhaps why we're at the point we are. As I mentioned, we've been negotiating with the responsible low bidder. Phase 1 grading continues. If you've been by the site, it's a little muddy this afternoon, but that site is quickly coming around to completion of Phase 1 grading. If you haven't driven by there recently, you can actually see War Eagle Drive, the main entrance to the campus, taking place. The student parking lot is being graded. Some of the topsoil has been removed from, I guess, the northern portion of the stadium site. So it's progressing as rapidly as possible with the weather permitting. Wesley will talk a little bit later about the certified bid tab. This is what it looks like. And I know you can't read it, but I'm sure that each of the board members has a copy of that in their package. We anticipated as we moved through this, as the economy started to rebound, that the cost could be a little bit higher than we had projected. As mentioned in previous meetings, there was approximately 6,500 square feet added during the vetting out process of the program. There's some additional athletic fields that had been discussed previously behind the middle school that we knew would drive the cost somewhat. And then, we knew that over the course of a year or two, I mean, this budget is about 2 years old, that there would be some movement in the cost of construction. So, this year or so in delay, we think, has put us in a less than favorable bid climate. Additionally, if you're not familiar or aware of what may be going on around you in nearby communities, Wake County has a very aggressive school construction campaign. In October of 13, they passed a $1 billion bond, and their expectation is that a couple of years from now, they will be passing a similarly sized bond, or at least placing that on the ballot. So the construction of schools has been, throttled back for a number of years because of the economy, but now that the economy has changed, that's starting to move forward. We're involved with a couple of those schools in Wake County, and I'll just tell you that they are experiencing the same problems that you've just encountered here in Davie County. And they even had a conference with all of their CM contractors to discuss, what could be done. And I'm not sure how, if anything, they've resolved it, but I think they're moving forward with that. So same thing in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. It's probably not so much school construction, but a lot of major projects going on in that community. So basically, this community is in a vice. It's siphoned off a lot of the major contractors that would normally bid a project of this size that we probably would have had available to us, a year or two ago had this been bid earlier. Just to let you know, when, we started to see some of this, our drawings are already at about 90% complete. So when you get your drawings that far along for any project, it's pretty much to back up at that point. And at some point, you just say, well, let's roll the dice, because you can start chopping things out and give things up that maybe on bid day you really didn't have to give up. So that's kind of where we are. Haven't been many school projects bid in recent years. I think the last high school that was bid was in 2013. It was a totally different market at that time. We saw a similar spike in cost in school construction somewhere around 2004, where just almost overnight prices skyrocketed. Some school systems we worked with have even had to put off some of the projects in their bond that had multiple projects contained in their bond just to do the ones that they had the most immediate need and the highest priority. So as we saw that prices might be headed in the wrong direction, we started making some modifications of the drawings that would help curtail cost. We also recommended bidding alternates. Those bidding alternates were included on the bid form on bid day. But even during the bid process, we pre-qualified 8 good contractors qualified to do the project. And even during that 5 or 6 week time frame, we had half of our bidders drop out because each and every one of them had acquired a project of equal size to this project during that bid period. So we were limited to only 4 contractors. So, even with the price rise, we were hopeful that, given the size of this project and some competition, that we could yield some savings that would benefit the owner. But, that's not exactly what happened. We just fell a little too late in the curve of construction prices, and we got much higher prices than we had anticipated. So they were a fairly tight set of bids. You've seen the bid tab, members of the board, so pretty good set of bids across the board. So that tells us that the drawings were predictable, they were understandable, no real confusion about what was being priced. And Wesley, again, will go over those items in the bid tab and also bring you up to speed sort of where we are in the process of value engineering options that we're talking with the contractor about.
Thank you, Clark. Just to continue the conversation, I think that, as Clark mentioned, you all have reviewed the certified bid tab. You've also seen our letter of recommendation. That's sort of based on the fact that we did receive 4 bids. And Clark mentioned that as I was opening the bids, every time I open bids is always the first bid I get to that I just kind of sends a signal up my spine one way or the other. And certainly all of us there, when we opened the first bid, I said to myself, well, okay, looks like it's going to be a rough road from here forward. But as we opened each bid, we noticed that they were all fairly tight. As Clark mentioned earlier, that tells us that the drawings were fairly accurate and conveyed enough information that everybody was on the same page. Given that, we did, after looking at the bids, as Dr. Hartness mentioned earlier, we began to work with the lowest responsible bidder, and that was New Atlantic. And in that process, our goal was really to sit down and to talk with them, to talk with members of your board, as well as members of the staff, to try to see what areas we could take a look at to look at VE options, value engineering options. Those options range from, I know you can't see it on this screen, we took the approach of trying to look at the site, look at the building, look at the plumbing systems, look at the mechanical systems, and look at the electrical system to kind of see what areas we could start to look at to value engineer. And value engineer is one of those things where you're not necessarily eliminating items, but just taking another look at different types of items and how those things may be spec'd. So, for example, on the site, we looked at ways we could reduce the amount of walkway canopy, or even the type of canopy, the materials that's used in the canopy. Underground storm drain modifications, just the location and routing of those to try to make those as efficient as possible to try to cut costs the best way we could. Looking at trying to modify the construction and scope of the paving surfaces, whether it's, like I say, whether it's the sidewalks or whether it's the drives or the asphalt paving that's in the project. And on in the building, we looked at ways of maybe making using a different type of sprinkler head in the building. Still a sprinkler system, but just the type of sprinkler head just sometimes it can make a big difference in cost. Looking at areas of finishes, still making sure that the finishes that we have are durable and, like I say, will last, but just the different types. Look at the different cost options for those. In plumbing systems, maybe looking at how we might use different types of fixture types, brand names and other things that can help give us some cost savings. Mechanical systems, the same. The type of one of the ozone water treatment, the type of systems that of how you those systems are maintained, and the kinds of chemicals and the types of ways you maintain systems. So we're looking at, I guess, a broad variety of options to try to provide some cost savings in the overall process. During this time, we've come up with a lot of options. Some of those options on the table, obviously the school system just feels like they can't take. There are some that they are taking. To date, we are still working to try to provide and develop more options. And to that end, we'll probably, as Clark said, and as Dr. Hartness said earlier, we've been working for the past 3 or 4 weeks, just constantly looking at ways to try to reduce the cost. And I think we're going to get there. I'm pretty confident we've got options. Some of those options, like I say, are things we would prefer not to have taken, but given where we are with cost, I think that's going to kind of place us there. But again, I think we're very optimistic that we'll be at that point. That's all I have in that portion of it.
Thank you, Wesley. Do we have any questions or comments for Clark or Wesley?
Got a question. I think, Mr. Clark, you mentioned in sometime, I guess maybe in early March, you folks noticed a spike in building costs. Is that the correct date? Was it March that you said? I know we met in January.
Yeah, we've talked to a number of folks in the contracting community, and it's been, building over approximately the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned in the presentation, at that point in time in the process, we were nearly complete with the construction documents, so it's a little difficult at that point to start chopping things out.
Yeah. I know that I'm aware of the fact, I believe we added 6,500 square feet and the athletic, they weren't added, they were altered. I think there were some alterations in what we were going to do. And so I know there was some addition to this. Now, I guess I looked at this letter that y'all said this cost of this school is going to come out to $167 a square foot. That's just construction cost. Is that correct? That does not count soft cost. That does not count any contingencies or anything like that.
I believe that's true.
So, okay. I know. I'm really hesitant to say this, but it does concern me. The fact is that when we had our facility study done in 2012, Little and Associates said that it was going to cost about $53.5 million to build a high school. And I know they said at that time, if money were no object, that's what they would recommend doing versus renovating our existing facility. And if memory serves me, I think the school that they recommended was going to be about 258 or 59,000 square foot. So that came out to at that point in time, over $200 a square foot. I mean, that was in 2012. And I guess my concern is we were looking at and you guys, I think originally were looking at somewhere around 329,000 square foot at 54.5, which comes up to total cost, including around 167 square feet. I'm having trouble wrapping my arms around all of this, and I've taken a look back at in 2014, there were 7 schools bid in North Carolina, and the average cost was $203 a square foot. And the last school bid in 2013 was $227 a square foot. So, I'm not a construction expert by no means, but it does, I find it, I have difficulty figuring out where we got to where we're at today, just to be quite honest with you, and that's all I got to say.
Well, what I would offer is that, the projects that we typically bid, that we typically design, are usually pretty economical schools by design and by construction. Even at 167 for what you'd be getting is still a bargain, even at today's prices. This school was patterned after Walkertown High School. This is about, I'm guessing, Wesley, correct me if I'm wrong, 100,000 square feet, give or take, larger than Walkertown, and it was built for like $29 million. It was probably bid in somewhere in that time frame, I think. So, you know, given the increase in size that you have in your building, certainly it was always our expectation that you just do the math. You ought to be able to build something that's, you know, less than 50% larger for less, for 50% or more of the cost in addition to what was paid for that. Athletic fields and all. It had all of what you're planning to build here. So I think our message is that we're just in a different construction environment now than we were 2 years ago, than we were 5 years ago. The schools that you mentioned that may be on the DPI website, I don't know what the scope of those schools, the level of finishes were. School construction varies all over the place depending on what part of the state it might be in and what the programmatic requirements are for the school. So you can't you know, just put them all in a box and say they all ought to be the same cost regardless of where they are. And that's my explanation.
I appreciate you saying that because what I was hearing, you can't compare apples to oranges. You've got to compare apples to apples. And what we were at 5 or 6 years ago, where we are now, is completely different. And I thank you for walking us through this process, making sure that everything is correct. And I do appreciate the information that you share, not only with us as a board, but what you share with the community. And we are going to have a new Davie High School, and I thank you and the staff for everything that you've done to this point. And yes, we were surprised. Yes, we were shocked. But this is Davie County. We're going to get together and get it done. And thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, guys. I would just say that from my perspective, how we were shocked, surprised, disappointed, a wide range of emotion. I would like to thank Clark and Wesley and the team at New Atlantic and the folks on our staff that have worked diligently since these bids were open to come up with a solution, and I certainly see light at the end of the tunnel there. So we're thankful that there's a solution to be had moving forward, and look forward to getting on with this project. And I would again thank Clark and Wesley for coming and giving us that update. At this time, we're moving on to the consent agenda, and I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Ms. Livingood. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries 7-0. At this time, we're moving on to public address to the board, and I will turn it over to Mr. Bullock.
Thank you, Chairman Fuller. Tonight, we had one person registered to speak. In order to address the board, you were required to register in advance. And our speaker tonight is Marcia Dove. And Ms. Dove, as you walk up, I'll remind you of a couple rules. One, please refrain from addressing any student or personnel issues to the board. If you do have concerns such as those, please raise those with Mr. Jeff Wallace, and he'll be happy to discuss those with you. Otherwise, you'll be given 5 minutes to speak, and when your time is up, I will indicate, and there's also a timer that you can see from your podium.
Okay, thank you. And thank you. I came here tonight after representing Shady Grove last night, listening to a variety of issues related to the community and the needs of the school. And I think foremost on my mind at the time was the issue of the high school and recent reports in the media regarding the unfortunate increase that took not only you by surprise, but of course the community by surprise when we heard those numbers. I just come to say thank you. Thank you for the hard work that you all have put into getting us to this place. I believe this community, no matter what the cost, still needs in high school. I feel confident and encouraged that you all are working to uphold your obligation and the promise that you made to the community, that you will try to do this as cost efficiently as possible. And I appreciate all the hard work that you all have put in thus far since the announcement, and appreciate you, Walter Robs, for coming forth and working diligently, being here today to share with us the information that you have. And I look forward to seeing a new Davie High in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public address to the board portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. At this time, we're moving on to committee and staff reports. And first up is Ms. Dawn Baker, Child Nutrition.
Chairman Fuller, Dr. Hartness, members of the board, and our guest. I hate to come this time every year as an information item on a potential price increase that we're going to ask for paid lunches for our preschool students, elementary students, and secondary students. I'm proposing a 10-cent increase. This 10-cent increase will put us in compliant with the federal requirements that we are to be mandated to look at our average pricing and making sure that it's meeting the requirements of our federal law. At this time, I will take any questions that you may have at this time.
Board, do we have any questions? Ms. Baker?
And I duly regret having to come back again.
Thank you for that update. We appreciate it. We certainly don't like hearing that either, but we're doing what we have to do in regards to that. At this time, we're moving on to curriculum, and I will turn it over to Ms. Noel Grady-Smith.
Thank you very much. I have good news, followed by good news, followed by good news. So I'm very delighted to be the person reporting this. First of all, I'd like to remind you that we became involved with Healthy Davie Forum. The Healthy Davie Forum is a community effort to bring our community needs to the present and forward attention of everyone in the community, and to bring partnerships together. So one of the first partnerships that's been has evolved from this is Davie County Schools, the Mebane Foundation, Head Start of Davie County, and the Davie Foundation. That melding of very important factors has allowed us to pursue a grants opportunity. This year, we will have $97,619.57 to sponsor our Read to Achieve camp, which is outstanding opportunity for our students who have not been listed as proficient readers in third grade. We were able last year to move all of those students forward to fourth grade with extra support. And I'm very happy to report that over 87% of those students have completely passed their proficiency levels. So we are accomplishing what we would like to accomplish. The exciting thing is that this year, the Mebane Foundation must have had a little bit of extra intuition, because the state cut us by quite a bit, and it would have been very hard to have the same quality with our highly qualified teachers if it weren't for the foundations stepping in and helping us. In addition to that, we have a brand new program that's going to involve 3-year-olds. We find that students come to kindergarten at times with no school experience. They've never been to preschool, often they haven't been to nursery school, and sometimes they haven't had any exposure to organized learning. So in an effort to address that situation, we will have a partnership with Davie Head Start, and we have received $10,896.62 to organize a pilot 3-year-old program. It will be held in one of the Mebane Foundation donated preschool cottages,
and it will involve approximately 16 to 20 children for a 2 to 4 week period. We're working that part out. So these are the little bitty ones, 3 years old, who will be coming hopefully to find out what school is like, and then we will encourage them to enroll in our preschool program. So it is a feeder pattern for our preschool program. In addition to that, we have had a tradition of having kinder camps to address the same problem, where students who are at risk come and have an exposure to the school environment. Those kinder camps existed in most of our Title I schools, and they were not at Pinebrook or Shady Grove. The Davy Foundation and the Mebane Foundation have combined efforts, and we have now received the funding of $7,200 to allow all the schools who are elementary schools serving our children to have a kinder camp at their setting. So this is to really help us with way before a child gets to 3rd grade. What we want to do is address what the child needs prior to that. In addition, if we go to the other end of the spectrum, we have our STEM Center. As you know, Davie High School STEM Center has been very, very successful. We will have over 500 students next year enrolled in the STEM Center. And these are very high-quality students from across the county. We're very excited about that. We're in a gap year. The funding for the STEM Center is through North Carolina New Schools, and they are renewing grants after having so much funding through Race to the Top. The Mebane Foundation has offered to help us with that gap year with a grant of $24,000. This will allow us to continue our teacher education, continue our programmatic efforts, and allow the STEM Center to continue growing. As you add students, you have to train new teachers, because each time you add a grade level, you are training a new group of teachers to come in. And it's very specific training. So our feeder to the STEM Center, our way of interesting young children in the STEM Center, is a middle school program called the STEM Pipeline. The Mebane Foundation is helping us with the STEM Center, and Davie Foundation is helping us with the STEM Pipeline. Their contribution is $15,000. The camp will run this summer. It is for identified high-achieving students, as well as students who show potential, but have not yet showed us their grades that we expect to see. We know by their testing results that they're going to be able to make very good grades in biology and math if they have the proper support. So this is a way to combine those two groups and get them interested in STEM processes. So I'm very happy to let you know that all those programs are thriving. I am so grateful to the community. I am so grateful to the Mebane Foundation and to the Davie Foundation for what we are accomplishing here in Davie County. It is a striking opportunity to be part of such a generous community.
Thank you for that update. Thank you for that positive update. We are very fortunate in this community to have the support of the community and these Mebane Foundation and the Davie Foundation. We're very fortunate and blessed here. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Noelle Grady-Smith to talk to us about the Ashley Art Smart Festival.
Well, as you know, Ashley Furniture Industries has decided to include us in a national effort that they have, which is Ashley for the Arts. Last year, they contributed $10,000, and our arts teachers were able to apply for mini grants out of that $10,000, and it was a wonderful opportunity to have that cost of meeting repairs and buying new equipment and having experiences for their children. This year, we are getting ready to have our 5th annual Ashley for the Arts Art Smart Festival, and we're very privileged to have a wide assortment of artists from around the community. As you can tell by our poster this year, we have a theme of tapestry of talent, and we're going to be emphasizing the visual arts this year, and it should be an exciting event. We also will have the outstanding students that you saw today in music, along with our wonderful choral students, our theater art students, our dance students, and then the multidisciplinary visual arts students. We've prepared for you just a little bit of a taste of the effort going in, and I would like to ask our theater teacher from South Davie Middle School, Catherine Reeves, to come forward and introduce a little film that we're going to give you a taste of what's to come. Catherine?
Thank you so much, Ms. Grady Smith. Good evening, Chairman Fuller, Dr. Hartness, and Mr. Wallace, board members and guests. I had the distinct privilege of being able to travel to almost every school in Davie County a couple weeks ago and peek inside the arts classrooms and just be reminded that the arts are very much alive in Davie County. We'd like to thank you, board, for your tremendous support of our arts programs in this county, and just put together a little video of some of the things that were going on inside these classrooms, and several teachers sent me footage and sent me photos that we compiled together. So without further ado, here's our official invitation to the Arts, Ashley for the Arts Festival on May 9th. All right, and we're ready for the video, Mr. Green.
Good morning, I'm Terry Winchell, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the Art Smart Festival. The dance company is working on not only a dance to show, but we want to show you the process. So the students have been involved with fabric and with scrolling and information and research, and what we want to do is work with the three words: tapestry, interdependence, and the strong women in our lives.
You build me up, why do you build me up, why do you build me up, don't break my heart, my heart. Door I can't take anymore, it's not you, it's the pride. Let me down again, build me up, you never know, baby, when you say you'll build me up, don't break my heart, I need you again.
I'm a factory, I got a house, a job, and a family. One note said push the button with your right hand. Here we go. Hi, my name's Joe. It's a button factory. I got a house, a job, and a family. One day, one day.
Maybe on the home grande, we're picking tamaño, Jade. What is it? That size, muy bien.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Bien, gracias. Y usted, y look at that.
I'm Miss Endicott, and I'm the drama teacher here at Ellis Middle School. Today we're here with Mikhail Harris and Nicole Horton, who play the White Rabbit and Alice in Alice in Wonderland Junior the Musical.
Cats and rabbits would reside in fancy little houses and be dressed in shoes and hats and trousers in a world of my own.
Well, I think it is because I have the White Rabbit's very energetic and you have to kind of run around everywhere. So me having like the run around the rooms is just, it's really fun to watch, and it's fun to see other people's like reactions when I'm just like going from place to place.
2, ready, air stick.
Sing the fun young song, sing it loud and long. With drums and cymbals we sing the fun young song. Sing it loud and long. With drums and cymbals we sing the fun young song. Dirling-tom, pially-piao, dirling-tom, pially-piao, pially-piao.
Stills need to be kind of stiff. They need to be done.
My favorite part about art classes is when we get to do the colors that we want and be creative.
Romeo, away, be gone. With Tybalt slain, the prince will doom thee death.
Oh, I am fortune's full.
What is the meaning of the religion? Go ahead, read number 2. Numero 2. Let's see, what does it mean? What is it? See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
If I may, I'd like you to know that Catherine Reeves did the production of this film. Her school, South Davie Middle School, was honored to have Dale Pollock, the famous film director, come and critique their works at a recent film festival that they had, and he's invited members of their film class to come and visit at the North Carolina School of the Arts. So we're very proud and happy to have talent such as Catherine Reeves with us.
Thank you for that presentation. We enjoyed the video, Ms. Reeves. At this time, I will call on Ms. Jenda Haynes, and I'll have to say, Ms. Haynes, it's going to be hard to top that.
I know, I was actually standing back there wondering if Kat Reeves or Dana Roberts, either one could help me with a little bit of art or creativity here. Greetings, Chairman Fuller, board members, Dr. Hartness, staff, and guests. I am here to talk with you again about the 10-point grading scale. Let me see if I can get this up. If you'll give me just a moment. Okay, and I will apologize, this will not be quite as entertaining, but since I'm the last on the agenda, maybe that's a little reassurance. Following the October state board meeting, I talked with you and presented changes to both the 10-point or the grading scale from a 7-point scale to a 10-point grading scale, and also changes in the weighting system to be implemented next year. Since then, there has been continued discussion across the state of North Carolina, and while the weighting system has not changed, they have not revised that policy again, so we are still implementing the weighting changes next year as a rolling implementation. There have been changes to the 10-point grading scale, so I want to talk about that tonight. So, as you will see, there was a revision January 8th of 2015, and in this policy, it states that high schools shall use one grading scale, a 10-point grading scale. This does include a standard method for converting grades to quality points for their GPA and class rank calculations. It does, as we discussed earlier, provide consistency across all public high schools in North Carolina and with most colleges and universities, so that's a real plus for this change. The change as far as the January meeting is that this is now effective for all high school students beginning next year, so it will not be a rolling implementation with freshmen. This will be for all 9th through 12th graders beginning next year, okay? Now, this chart shows you the corresponding letter grades and the numerical grades for both the old 7-point scale that's going away, that's X'd out there to your left, and it also shows the new 10-point grading scale. And then to the far right, in that far right column, you see the quality points. So an A will be a 90 to 100 numerically. As a quality point, that will be a 4.0. And an A is an A is an A. So that will be very different from how we have calculated GPA with the 7-point augmented scale, when you had to have a 96 to have a 4.0. So no pluses or minuses with this new system next year. Now, when we talk about the revision to the grading scale and what that means, first of all, this is a change. This is a different scale. We are changing that scale. As we're measuring student achievement and student mastery. But I want you to think about it this way, because there have been some concerns expressed and there have been some folks questioning how we will implement this. So I want you to think about, and I have to go back to my science teaching days a little bit, think about when you're measuring something with a ruler, and there are two sides to that ruler. One has inches and one has centimeters. So 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. That happens to be a little trivia that's stuck in my science brain. So if we're measuring someone, if you want to measure my height is not changing. I wish it could, but my height is not changing. Whether you report that in inches or whether you report that in centimeters or whether you report that in some other kind of unit, it doesn't matter. So we are changing the scale by which we measure, but we are not decreasing rigor, we are not lowering standards. So again, an A is an A is an A. Does that make sense? Now, as we're preparing for this implementation, just as the State Board of Education and the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction have emphasized that this new policy should not decrease rigor, teachers and administrators in Davie County also want to ensure that there is no lowering of standards as we transition from the 7-point scale to the 10-point scale. Discussions are already underway to define, what does A work look like? What does B work look like? What does it look like to really have sufficient mastery to be considered passing? So those are discussions that are already taking place, and teachers are beginning to reevaluate our rubrics and our grading practices and our mindsets as we approach grading, because again, we want to ensure that our standards and our expectations remain rigorous. Now, for you, one thing that we need to discuss, the 10-point grading scale is a local option for elementary and middle schools. So within this policy, it does not specify for elementary and middle. We have choice. Alignment is encouraged by the State Board of Education and by DPI. We have had discussions with elementary and middle school principals. They have also gathered input and had discussions with their teachers. And at this point, the Davie County School staff support consistency for the sake of students, for the sake of parents. And we recommend that the 10-point scale is considered as a local option for our grades 3 through 8. So I present that for your discussion, and certainly we'll try to answer any questions that you might have.
Board, I would just say that Ms. Haynes brings this to you for information, for discussion. If you have questions, concerns, we need to hear those. It's not up for action tonight. But.
I'll just say, while you're standing there, what would be a downside besides the actual time of implementation and everything?
It's just an adjustment. Again, it's learning to measure with a different ruler. That's the easiest way for me to explain it in layman's terms. We are so used to measuring in inches, and we have to learn to measure in centimeters. So it's just, it's a different way, and we just have to make that shift. But again, our teachers are very willing to do that, and they feel like it's worth it for the sake of consistency.
If I may, it also allows us to join the reference point of our colleges and universities. So it gives us a strong value placed on particular grades, and it's happening across the state, really to move us into that model so that our high schools and our colleges have more of a consistent approach to grading.
I just have a question regarding, do you know when, I mean, has there been a prior way of doing this? I mean, is this the first time that you all have known that there's been the recommendation go to the 10-point? Because I guess in my thought, just because I have children who are in that grade level, you know, especially like with the grades 3 through 8, if you go to the 10-point scale and then, oh, that didn't work anymore, and then you switch them back, and I'm not saying that that would happen, but as a parent, I'm thinking, you know, then how do you explain to a child who, oh, I thought an 82 was a B, but whoop, nope, we decided that it worked, now it's a C. So just historically, I guess from an educator's perspective, I mean, do you feel like if this change goes forward, this is pretty much going to be the standard, or is there a chance it would go back, or I hope I'm making sense.
I think what you're saying, though, is the very reason that we support consistency, that we support keeping grades 3 through 8 doing the same thing as 9 through 12.
Right.
So that students don't have to shift their mindset when they move from 8th grade to 9th grade, that we're doing the same thing across the board.
But you're not aware of, like, before we were at the 7-point scale? I mean, is that pretty much all they've ever known, or all you all have ever known in terms of?
I would pipe in. I mean, what has historically happened is there's 7-point scales and there's 7-point augmented scales where, like in our district, you had to have a 96 to get full quality points. Some districts didn't grade that way. So the state board, I think, saw that there was multiple measures across the state and wanted to bring some consistency to high school. And they, you know, communicated with the colleges and universities, and essentially we're going to the same scale that's used in the colleges and universities. And without going farther, the state board said, this is what we're doing in high school. Local boards of education, you can decide whether or not you want to replicate this in grades, in the earlier grades. So what's been in place has been in place a long time. I don't see a change coming. Well, I'd hate to predict that because it is coming from the state, but I think that it would be some strong opposition if there was a change coming in the near future.
And keep in mind, when I came in the fall, there was a good bit of research study that had gone on before this. So there were a lot of stakeholders involved, and support at the college and university level, community college level, supporting consistency and supporting this move for a variety of reasons. So this has been a long time coming. It's not something that's sudden, if that makes sense. The change that we have seen from October to January has been some pushback across the state from high school folks and staff and superintendents and so on, not wanting to see a rolling model where I might have a 9th grader and a 10th grader taking the exact same class and they're on 2 different grading scales. And how is that equitable, and how do I deal with that as a teacher, and how do I understand that as a student or a parent?
And what I would say too is if you have students who are already in high school, since it's not just starting with the 9th grade cohort, their transcript will not change for the courses they've already completed this year. They'll just be on a new scale next year, and from that point forward.
I was going to say, that was my daughter's question last night. Her 82 is still a C, right? She was hoping somehow it would just bump it up. And
Okay. I'm sorry there was no song and dance that came along with that presentation, but
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Haynes. At this time, we are down to the end of the meeting, and I will ask if anybody, before we adjourn, if anybody has any comments.
I would just want to say I thank John Ferguson from the County Commissioner for being here.
Yeah, I was going to point that out.
I too wanted to recognize Commissioner Ferguson and his wife, and I appreciate them being here. I also just wanted to say one other quick thing. You know, tonight was just such a night of celebration. We had so many accomplishments. Teachers just have a very special community. They are a family. They're a family not only in this county, but they're a family, I think, across the state. And as we go home tonight and we give thanks for living in this tremendous county, I'd like us to remember Reagan High School. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but this week, in the last 6 to 7 days, I believe, Reagan has lost 3 staff. They've lost not necessarily a staff, but they're a former PTA president, a very young woman, a baseball coach just today, I believe, and another coach, in just this very short period of time. That's really hard. That is really hard. So I would like for you to think about the students and the families at Reagan High School and pray for them tonight when you're giving thanks for living in this great place that we live. Thank you.
We have any other comments? All right, I'll take just a moment. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I would also point out that Mr. Ferguson, one of our wonderful county commissioners, is with us tonight. We appreciate him being here in his service. And I would just say that we look forward to moving forward. And again, we've had with this high school project had some shocking news here, but we are certainly moving forward and dedicated to that process, and we'll be on our way shortly. At this time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Drexler. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor? 7-0. We are adjourned.